Hey, what's up, guys? I just got up. I got out of bed just now. But some really, really amazing things have been happening to me recently, and last night was extraordinary to say the least. Um, and I kind of just wanted to hop on. I haven't been getting on because I've really been battling with my ego, and to truly ascend as high as possible, you have to dismantle every part of it and be and to truly be, to emanate your true beingness is what it's all about, and to do that you have to dismantle your ego. And Muji talks about how it's one of the scariest things, and at first it really is when you really start recognizing that your ego is completely separate from your true being. You can literally, like, I can hear my own ego be like, oh my god, like this is terrifying, but I know that I'm separate from it, and I keep dissolving that and becoming more and more of the energy of my soul, and the energy of bliss charged love, the magnetism of that. And yeah, so last night, hopefully you can hear me. I don't know if I'm covering the mic or not. Um, but last night, hopefully you heard all of that. Jeez. Last night was amazing, and how it started is I did my nightly routine, which consists of like meditation and building up of energy. And to really get to this point where I'm at, you have to be doing Kundalini yoga every day and Kriya yoga every day. And hiking, I strongly recommend lifting weights and swimming. Other than that, yeah, just walking, going on walks while being and holding love inside of your body and loving yourself. But yeah, so last night I did my routine and I fell asleep while holding love. And a good way to do it is doing Kriya yoga also, and clearing your vessel out while you're falling asleep, and listening and pulling that sound inside of your body. Anyway, I came into this room where there's this being waiting for me, and we're very familiar. And his energy is the energy of the sun, of our sun, of our solar system. And there's different names, but they're not all the same being. Like they're similar. It's like they're different branches from the same tree, is what they said. But Lord Frey, from the Norse pantheon, was the one there. Also similar to Apollo, or even Horus in Egypt, which is, it's just like the energy of the morning dawn or the sun, And yeah, so I connected with him, and we shared space and came into a state of love with one another, um, and merged our energies. And it felt so warm. And why I say Lord Frey is because I've been connecting with Norse pantheon the most recently, and hence the tree behind me. Uh, and Lord Frey is in the Norse pantheon, supposedly has this ship, this Viking longship or whatever, that can fit inside of his pocket. And he whipped out this thing that looked like a smartphone, and we looked at it, and we saw Yggdrasil, but not as the tree, but as our solar system. And that's what Yggdrasil actually is. It's a representation of our solar system. Think um, I think it's just this solar system. It could honestly be like a fractal pattern of the entire universe, though. I am not 100% sure about that yet. Um, but anyway, we look at our solar system inside the smartphone. We actually like fall into it with our energies. Me and him blended into it. And I've had an experience with him before where he showed me a spaceship and told me that we can ride in it. And then tonight we got to, and we fell into this phone, into this ship that can fit inside of his pocket. and we saw our solar system and then started zooming out, and like I could see the ship traveling, and there were these markers or waypoints, he said, where we were traveling through, and they were like star systems, and like wormhole star systems, more importantly, like big wormhole star systems that I don't know if you ever played Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, but what just popped in my head is like, or Mario Kart, when you hit those boosters. You know, you're playing Mario Kart and you go around the track and you hit one of those boosters, it makes you go, you know, really fast. And that's what popped into my head when I was talking about those waypoints. But anyway, we keep going through those, and we I could see these layers. I think it was like ce- celestial barriers. So I honestly don't really know what that means, but I'm guessing it's some sort of energy wave, or energy climax. um, you know, of these different layers of our galaxy. And we went through a bunch of those, but it only took about 3 seconds. And then we landed in this solar system. We zoomed into this star, and this literally works exactly how CE5 works. Like, it's crazy how similar it is. But we zoom into this star system, um, and the energy of Frey, I say that because that's in our solar system, and I'm guessing that Frey energy is probably is just our sun. Um, but anyway, because he this being that I'm with is an avatar being, you know, an avatar of like a source god, you know, an avatar of source, and there are many avatar beings all across the universe, right? And anyone here on Earth can become an avatar being just like them. And yeah, so we see the solar system and we zoom in to his home world, and he was like, all right, we're doing a data exchange, and we're going to exchange your light and we're going to gift you our light. And that's how this like energy exchange, or this currency, almost this currency of light and data, works in the universe. And we exchange this light and gift it to one another to amplify each other's vessels, amplify each other's astral bodies, you know, and help more beings to ascend to higher and higher levels on their end and our end, you know. And yeah, that's what it's really all about. That's what the light is about, and that's what we're trying to facilitate here on Earth. You know, we're trying to transmute these darker energies, and we are, you know, and I'll talk about that here in a sec. Um, but yeah, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful once you come into your own and realize that you're not really special, and that there are there are levels of energies, but as an avatar being, you can keep ascending and ascending and ascending and ascending, and you don't have to think of one being as better than the other one, you know? Or, I mean, there are levels of energies, right? But you can keep ascending and going higher and higher, and not be limited to believing that you're stuck in one energy, you know? And that's kind of what I've been learning, even though there are masters in this solar system that are way above what we are, you know, and one of which would be Odin. And I've been connecting a lot with Odin, and like I've connected to his frequency, but he's actually come into my vessel before, and showed me what that type of energy feels like, you know. And but again, like in the Thor movie, Odin is like, we are not gods, and he emphasized that's a big part of it. You know, he talks to Loki, and when Loki is saying that we're gods, he makes a big point saying that we're not gods. We're just avatar beings, you know, and space travelers, you know. And uh, Asgard in those movies looks like a big flying saucer. It looks like a half disc, and like the city is sitting on top of this half disc, you know. And yeah, so this ascension is amazing, and that's it's all about unity and love and connecting with other people's energy fields and not being afraid. And I've been so stuck in thinking certain ways and not wanting to change, and being like trying to deprogram this human mindset of not trusting anything and being afraid of the mystery, and being afraid of the unknown. You know, I connected it with these gods, but it's all honestly it was terrifying at first, because these gods are so powerful, you know, and these beings that people have been worshiping for thousands and thousands of years, you know, are real, and they're super powerful. And I've been dismantling that part of my ego that's been saying that, you know, and or saying that it's scary to think of that, you know, and just being in the moment and observing that energy, or that that fear, you know, observing it until it dissolves, and filling those pockets with love and abundance and joy instead, and bliss, you know. And then like I said, blending into learning how to blend your energy into other beings around you, and that's how you can travel, you know, and ascend higher and higher, you know, with that unity oneness. And uh, yeah. So one other thing I wanted to talk about um, was this kind of war that we've been having here on Earth. And part of the reason why I've been kind of afraid to connect with these beings is I heard this lady talk about the Anunnaki, and how this group of beings has been trying to control this planet for a long time. And they they're like these 4D beings that think that they're better than everyone, you know. And that's really a hump that I had to get over myself, because I've come into I've realized my own creator abilities, and I've um, uh, I don't know, I was thinking that I was different from people for a while. Um, but in reality, I mean, I have ascended to a high level, or to a high level, you know, like, uh, like I don't even know shit right now. I can tell that I'm on the right track, though. I'll put it that way. But compared to these other beings that are above me, like I'm saying, there are levels of energy. These beings are way above where I'm at, you know. But when I'm in a pure state of being and in a pure state of awareness, I can dish out a lot of energy. And because of that, I was thinking that I was different. But recently, I've been dissolving that cord and realizing that even though that there's these massive light beings that can flip a switch and destroy the earth like instantly if they really wanted to, you know. But they wouldn't want to do that. I'm just giving an example of how powerful some of these beings are. Like Lord Shiva, he's the destroyer god in the Hindu pantheon, and could flip a switch and destroy your vessel instantaneously. You know, that's the type of power that is like up in these upper echelons, you know. And I was thinking that I was special, but in reality, these beings are just light beings. And as you keep going higher and higher, you start blending more and more into source, and coming back into source. And that's why I had this vision of seeing Mount Olympus, which was it's this mountain, you know, that looks like a peak, right? And Cronus the is like this big at the maybe like this big. If the mountain's like just my hand, Cronus is like really big at the very top, and he has this golden light. But then underneath him are like, I think it was like eight different gods, 8 or 9 different gods underneath him, which would be like the 12 Olympians, or maybe it's a little bit more. But I have a feeling that a few of the Olympians are just the same energies in different bodies. Like I'm pretty sure um, Aphrodite and Athena are one goddess, and just different aspects of herself. I'm not sure, not 100% on that, but what I was saying is like you can ascend into this energy of Zeus, for instance, and I've been connecting with his energy, and then but then above him is Cronus, you know, and then above Cronus is are other beings too, you know. um uh but yeah, so where was I going with that? Yeah, so that like these beings are extremely powerful, and we call them gods, but in reality, they're just these beings that are very high dimensional, and can channel a lot of light energy. And but light is all light is gifting frequency and gifting that, instead of being dark and taking, you know, and not giving anything back. That's what the light really the light is, the gifting of that energy and the gifting of that information, and giving those downloads to your fellow space citizens and your galactic friends and family, you know. And yeah, so I was getting into the Anunnaki, and those beings are some of these darker beings that think that they're better than people, and they want to keep the knowledge for themselves and not always give it to people, you know. And they want to control instead of enable, and that's the really big difference. And I was saying I was getting afraid of, or my ego was becoming afraid of Odin, because he's this massive. Like the first time I saw him, he literally looked like he was 100 feet tall, like looking down at me with his like golden aura. And then I heard about the Anunnaki, and I was like, "Oh my God, is Odin an Anunnaki? And is he like tricking me?" You know, and that was another thing. Like these beings are highly intelligent, you know. And uh, I was like, I'm just a little human, you know. I have no idea what I'm doing. And but then you have to go back. You have to. I've had to have many experiences with them, because they know that we humans are programmed like that, and they have to they were have been building trust with me over the last like um, over the last long time, in this physical body a lot over like the last year. They've been building trust with me. But yeah, so they so they keep saying Starship Enterprise, and that's been one of my goals through this ascension process. Why I've really been grinding down, because I met Ricardo Gonzalez, and if you speak Spanish, search Ricardo Gonzalez online, on YouTube. But he has had face to face contact with ET, and I have as well. I've met some avatar beings in the third dimension, or in the fifth dimension is really where you have to be to be able to communicate with them. I won't get into that right now, but the Starship Enterprise is definitely going to be a thing. And I honestly think that I'm going to be able to be one of the beings on it. And that, like I said, that's been one of my goals since ascending. Is like, I heard a channeling by Metatron, this being named Nalesh. That's a human that channels Metatron, Archangel Metatron. And he told me that you can manifest whatever reality that you want to. And immediately I was like, I want to travel amongst the stars, you know. And that's been my goal. And since I've put that out there, I've gotten more and more confirmations about it, and we've talked about it telepathically. And it has to do with Frey's energy. And I honestly think that I don't think, I know that we were traveling on it last night. And I'm sure that it would be able to physically manifest if they wanted to right now. But they can really travel. We can really travel faster by just using our astral bodies, right? Um, but yeah, so this war that's been happening had to do with the beings that live on Mars. And I don't know if that's where the Anunnaki originally came into the solar system and took over that planet. But I had a vision a few months ago, and it was a day where I got really, really, really sad, and I had this dream or this dream, right, where I saw Mars's army fully mobilize, and I saw this huge like gun turret come out of the side of Mars. Like it was like this, like if Mars was like this big, the gun turret was like maybe that big on the very edge, and it came out. I was looking from behind the gun, and this gun turret mobilized, and it like extruded out of the face of Mars like that and pointed directly at Earth. And then I saw this I saw this spaceship that looked like a star destroyer from Star Wars, and it sounds kind of cliche, but like that's honestly what has been happening. In the beings, the like reptilians. I mean, they're I hate to go into the whole reptilian thing, but I honestly think that that's there's a big part of there's a big group of beings, and Metatron actually has been one of these beings, and he did his first channeling with Alba Weinman. If you're into channeling, look up Alba Weinman. She does a lot of really good ones, and look up Metatron. But he talks about how these reptilians are in a war with these beings that look like the Pleiadians in his channeling, but it's really a lot more light beings than just the Pleiadians. But yeah, I had this dream where the Mars's army fully mobilized and started beaming Earth with a lot of really, really negative energy, and it hit me in particularly too, and not in particularly, but hit me a lot as well. And I was very conscious and became very, very sad. But it was honestly, I was doing it to myself, and they were amplifying it too, and they were triggering me in order for my own being, or my own consciousness, to self-destruct. And I did kind of self-destruct for a minute, and have, like I said, been dismantling my ego and learning how to fully step into my truth. um, but yeah, so that star destroyer was in orbit around Earth. um, and the other, like 3 nights ago, I went into a spaceship with Odin, and he took me into it, and he was the one piloting, and I honestly was just there. I'm pretty sure he just like dominated my ego for me, just so I could be there with him to experience that. And he's told me that that's what happened, because yeah, my ego has been getting in the way a lot, but it's been getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and that's the objective. It's just taking one step at a time and progressing, right? But he took me. It was like I was in the astral realm, and we drove in this car, and we drove up. Okay, we drove up to like this forest wooded area, and we got in this spaceship. And I remember going in this spaceship, and it looked like a disc, um, but they can honestly, like, discs can transform and mold time space to and like form to become any shape that it wants to. Like, that technology is so far advanced that you can look like just a little orb. Like, I'm sure that disc that we traveled in could probably manifest as an orb like this big in my room right here, right now. That's how advanced those ships are. And I went into that ship, and I remember going out of Earth's atmosphere, and I remember breaking the barrier of this this energy field that is a gateway that the light warriors have put around Earth, and it's surrounding Earth to keep negative energies from getting back in. So once the energies leave, they can't get back in, right? And I remember breaking through that, and as we broke through that, we it transitioned into literally a ship that looked like the ship that Obi-Wan Kenobi flies with, and then Anakin flies with him as well. Or no, I think it was actually no, it was okay, yeah. Because I remember Anakin, or Obi-Wan's and Anakin's ship. So the ship looked like a triangle, right? And do you remember when Obi-Wan and Anakin fly into that enemy ship to go kill Count Dooku? And that was literally the ship that I was in. And I was thinking that Obi-Wan had two ships in Star Wars, and one was more triangular. But I think in that scene it was the same ship, but it just opened up these flaps that were like battle flaps. And yeah, so I was in the back of this ship. I could literally there like R2D2 was on the side too, and Odin was piloting it. And right as we broke through this barrier going out of Earth, I heard these like blaster noises, like we just shot we shot these missiles. Um, because when I came back into my body, I'll get to that in a sec, but it'll make sense in a minute. So yeah, we shot these these blasters or missiles or something, and shot it at that Star Destroyer that I'd seen months and months before, like 2 months beforehand. And we came around the side of this Star Destroyer, and I remember my ego came back in right because I remembered the Star Destroyer. I was kind of like, the astral realm is so hazy, but I remember seeing this Star Destroyer and remembering the fear that I had before of it. And right as I did that, the top of the Star Destroyer literally turned at us. Like, it didn't know we were there before, but it turned, and like it like illuminated and shot this wave. Like, it keyed off on my fear that I was feeling. And that's another point of this whole thing, is that those darker energies, they feed on fear, and they feed on those lower emotions like anger and depression and sadness, and they take advantage of it and control you with it. And they knocked me out of the astral realm because I felt fear and I was in that ship. And I was like, I came back and I was like, oh no, did we just like uh, did we just not complete our mission because I felt fear? And then I started going back into love and like meditating more. And then I saw that ship outside of that barrier. And I like um I I heard them telepathically, and they were freaking out because they saw our ship, like attacking it basically, and trying to destroy it because it's not of the light, and I keyed in on that and kind of amplified their own fear in that way. And But not really amplified their fear, just like confirmed to them that they were going to be annihilated. And right as I did that, I saw a replay of our little ship coming out of, and this was more of a remote view. Like, I wasn't in that state. I was remote viewing it from outside. I saw our little ship shoot these missiles, and it went straight through that Star Destroyer. And the missiles went straight through, and then the Star Destroyer kind of turned upside down, and like the triangle, literally like in Star Wars, yeah, like literally in Star Wars, it like dives and crashes back into Mars. And yeah, that was the what happened with that. And after it was done, it was like, oh my God, that's the energy that has been screwing with me, and I just felt this release. um and then there was also some stuff with the god Set that happened afterwards. I went back into meditation. I've talked about Anubis before in videos, but Anubis and Set were are like this combination of death and evil, that are from the Egyptian. But I'm sure that their energies are, and I know um, their energies are present in many different pantheons. But that's like in the Norse, that would be it would be like Loki, and or maybe not so much Loki, but more of Fenrir, which is this giant dark wolf, which is kind of similar to Anubis and Set. But some stuff happened with him too, where we actually got to remove him from planet Earth. And I saw the god Ra kind of like bundle him up and take him off planet. Um, and right as that was happening, I also saw this huge dump of this love energy that I think Anubis had taken from us. and I was remote viewing my room, and I literally saw this like pool of green love energy that was like almost waist deep up to, and I think it was Frey standing in my room. He was walking through this pool of energy, and yeah, and it was amazing. It was like a climax, and realizing that we had finally done it. And after this, after we had taken a set off of Earth, I told them, I like brought this energy, and I saw all, and I told them this should all be redistributed, you know, and the green energy was honestly, I think it was only my own energy that had been taken from me by this god, because he has come in at a lot of different points in my life in like the last 2 or 3 years. That has and he's taken a lot of light from me, and I called that light back right after that had happened. And but the energy that I saw afterwards, I think, was the energy that he had taken from the whole globe. And I saw, they told me that this is going to be redistributed to every single village on the planet. And right after they said that, they showed me all of these UFOs, and they were just dumping this insane amount of light energy into all these different locations. And I could see, it was like I could see, um, I don't know, probably like 50 different craft like going out into the distance of this, of my view that I was looking at, and they were just dumping this energy into Earth, and to facilitate ascension, to give light and light codes to all of the beings that need to ascend, you know, which is everyone. And it was truly beautiful. Um, One more thing that I did see was I saw Anubis's hand uncurl, and there was like these coins in his hand, and they dropped. And then so I'm assuming that was like Satan's control over the monetary system on Earth being dissolved on the higher dimensions. And again, this is happening on the higher dimensions, but it's up to each individual person to facilitate that in a three-dimensional sense, and become the miracle. And like, if you've ever seen the movie Bruce Almighty, there's a scene um where God is talking to Bruce, you know, or Morgan Freeman's talking to Bruce, and he's like, you become the miracle. And that's the beauty of it. And I just wanted to talk, like, emphasize that we need to, even though this is happening on the higher dimensions already, we have to be the ones to dismantle our ego, and come to terms with our trauma, and embrace it, and love ourselves, and love each experience as divine, and view our trauma as divine too, because it's it's making us climb, making us learn, and actually facilitating ascension faster. And I've gone through some shit, you know, let me tell you. And it's looking back at it, and it's been helpful. Honestly, it's been because it's put me into a state where